Good evening, my dear viewers of the Environment Dialogue. You are always here. We are always here at UCTV every Wednesday from 8 to 9. We make sure that we explore these topics that that really interest everyone in the community, because we know that without us sharing these ideas, other people will be ignorant. They will not know what the government, the initiative that the government is taking, or what the community is trying to come up with to find that these are the solution, what is called the nature-based solution for our country. When you talk about the nature-based solutions, we have things which the community has always engaged themselves, like the regenerative farming, regenerative agriculture, which are all called nature-based. And today here in the studio, I have very wonderful guests who are here to come and articulate the things that they have seen, they have experienced, even with their initiative, because some of them are the CEOs, that's a chief executive officer, some of them are directors of their projects, others are researchers, and we are glad to meet these wonderful, brilliant ladies in the studio today who are going to see how we can explore especially things to do with energy. You know that the country right now, or the agenda of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, is looking at how can we safeguard the community from things that pollute their life, that destroy property. And when we talk about clean energy, we look at the things to do with solar system, look at wind energy. There are a lot of things that we term them as clean energy. And today we are here to see the future of Uganda into something which is called solar energy. And when you talk about solar energy, it's one of the SDG goals. That is goal number 7, which is access to clean and affordable energy. That even the UN is trying to push this agenda so that everyone in the community are able to embrace. All right, let me come back to my guests, because it has been long. I know you guys, you've been seeing that when should we have this, so that at least the nation or the community should hear this. So without waste of time, let me first give you time to introduce yourself to my viewers. Let me start from the executive, the CEO herself of Taraji Girls.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator, and good evening, our dear listeners. I am Atim Topista, the Executive Director of Taraji Teenage Girls Initiative. I'm really very excited and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to share with you, to explore with you about energy. Thank you so much.
That's from Topista Atim, the CEO herself. I told the young people really are changing the dynamic of this game. You need to learn from how she's doing it. You don't need to reach that to know. You need to reach at your age of 40s or 50 to be a CEO, but you can do something through their initiative. Okay, let me go to the researcher herself also to introduce herself to the video.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself.
Good evening to you viewers. My name is Kungu Samantha, a passionate volunteer, first of all, of the United Nations Association of Uganda, that is passionate about, implementing of the Sustainable Development Goals, especially amongst the youths, and also the environmental hub that focuses on community involvement in climate-related activities, especially for sustainable development. And thank you, Dickens, first of all, for having me here. I'm so excited to talk about an interesting and exciting topic, that is solar energy. And in a country like Uganda, where we have close to 8 hours of sunlight, why not embrace this clean energy? So once again, thank you viewers for tuning into UCTV, and I'm excited to share this with you.
All right, then thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Topista. I know that the ladies are going to make this a boom today during these hours. All right, then, when we talk about the future of solar energy in Uganda, what comes to your mind? First of all, you know that there are other places that's a blessing to them. Like when we talk about places like Karamoja, they know that, everyone knows that that place is really is good for solar. Again, when you look at other places like Kavali, and you say, how can Kavali really embrace this with, the weather, the climate change in the area? So it's all all, it's something which is a mixture of a lot of things. But we are glad that we have you people who have been there, as also you've been in the docket of the UN, seeing some of the initiatives that they have been really coming up with. So my question is Samantha, what are your view about this solar energy that the government is trying to interest everyone in Uganda today?
So just as you've mentioned, the government is interesting everyone to embrace the solar energy. Why? First of all, I've mentioned earlier that we receive close to, we receive sunlight for over 8 hours in a day. Some countries don't have that opportunity. So first of all, this is a blessing that we have to embrace. And in areas just like Karamoja, when it's as hot as that, they would think of smart solutions, smart energy solutions. That's where we talk about solar energy. And I also thank the Ugandan government for pushing for this, because you notice we have quite a number of companies that are pushing this, especially to the rural areas. And with the efforts of extending electricity to these rural areas, the remote areas, solar energy is a good way forward, because we are looking at something that's cheaper, something that's affordable, something that's accessible. This is renewable energy, something that can't get exhausted anytime now. So when we speak solar, we speak not only smart energy, but also affordable energy. Yeah, so when I look at the future of solar in Uganda, it's promising and it's growing. We can see close to 38% of the people in the country now having to use solar energy, and they're embracing it. So which means there is effort that has already been put to this, and people are picking up. Yes.
Okay, then let me come to Topista. Topista, the statistics says that 26% of the people in rural areas, they're the ones who are still embracing this initiative, out of the population of over 45 million people that we have in this country. But you see that there's still a very big gap. And I've seen you in Taraji, you've been training your girls with how to make charcoal briquettes, some of the innovations that you have come up with. So do you think that really this initiative that the government is trying to sell to the community, will the community embrace it, or maybe there's other way around that the government can really interest these community people to take upon this initiative of solar energy?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Actually, what I can say, the community that I'm in, that I'm leading, I really see that they are really embracing this in this way. Let me give you a scenario. When I was at school, at high school, I was in deep in a downer school there. That was Luala Girls Secondary School. If you really know about it, and if you know the history about them, adapting the girls and what have you. So what happens down there, by then, we never had electricity. We were only surviving on generators. And you know, generators were spending, the school was actually spending a lot on fuel, and you know, and which this is really contradicting with the climate. Yeah. You understand? So it happened that it was really also affecting the students' learning, in that you find the noise is too much that is being produced by the generators, and also it was so costly for the school. Just not, sometimes even you run short of the lights, and you're always cut short. The students were not always concentrating, and yet these are the students that are really coming from grassroots. These are the girls that are willing, like they want something to happen in their future, like they also want to have a future, but their future was always cut short, in that they could not access education. Most of them dropped out because of such shortages. So with this initiative, with this plan of the government embracing solar energy, I feel it is a good thing, and the community will definitely welcome the idea. One, because as my colleague said, it is a cheaper one. Secondly, it reduces the risks of accidents. this is something which is cheaper to use. Even if you touch, it will not shock you, it will not kill you. You get it? Yeah. And thirdly, yes, we are depending on a natural, on a natural source, that is sun, and of which in my place where I come from Soroti, most actually almost in the entire day, there is a lot of sand. You don't need to spend to buy the sand. The sun. So it's not like electricity, you have to run again, you load and what have you. I feel this is the cheapest, and it does not need much techniques to use it.
True.
Even the ones who are not educated will definitely embrace this.
All right then. All right, thank you, Topista. This comes to again another question that I have. You know, last month I was in Sorority, as I said, Sorority was hot, really. It was too hot. I think I did not even cover myself when I was there. Yeah. Then again, it happens that this month I went to Kavale. So I was looking at Kavale. I said that, why did I come even to this place? Oh, the place was too cold, and bathing was a tug of war.
Yeah. So, in fact, to even add to tell, you notice that in most villages, there are different charging points. You find that every center has a charging slot, like the person just has a business in charging phones. But with solar energy that people, especially in those rural areas, are embracing, you find that they can charge their phones at home. That reduces the time you have to use to move to the center to charge your phone. And that's time spent that you would have spent possibly in farming or doing your other farm work. So it has saved a lot. And also lighting. I mean, you've mentioned of how the struggle that the girls were going through to read, whereby now, like, for say I've been in a school, but we've not had issues with power. But I can imagine what that school must have gone through, because we had morning preps, we had night preps. So you can imagine that life without those two, and those are fundamental times of the day that people focus to read. Besides classes, you have your time at night, but if you don't have light at night, what are you going to do? So that's where solar comes in. It is cheap. People in the villages are having these lights. They are not scared about power shortages. So I feel like to even these homes that haven't yet adopted this, it's possibly, I don't know if it's a mobilization or what, but we need to embrace this because it's saving a lot. We can have it in schools. I've seen some shops already adopting this, which is pretty interesting, that you can't be worried about light. You can't be worried about not reading at night. And you can't be worried about not charging your phone, because I mean the affordable solar panels accommodate for,
Actually, to add on that, you see with electricity, down there in the grassroots, let me still go back to the schools. You find that the girls may not know how to use them, yes? Yeah. And at the end of the day, their syllabus is always shortened, like they don't cover everything. How do you expect this student to compete with these other schools, this other known school like the St. Lawrence, like the Gayazas, Seta High and what have you. So, but if really this has come on ground and everyone embraces, mostly us down there on the grassroots, we embrace that, and everyone makes sure that at least acquires something at home, you will definitely find that we shall even perform better than these other schools that are known, and
Really?
Yes.
That's a test of knowledge, but okay.
But you see that, like, my question still goes to, a rural person in Kabale who is facing this effect of climate change in their area, especially during rainy season. Kabale even though rainy or what, dry spell is still almost the same. Then there is that one in Soroti or in Amudat or Kotido Kabong. You find that, yes, the climate change might be favorable for that solar energy, for them to use it. But now, how can you interest this person who is in Kabale, whom the weather is not favoring that person? Don't you think that really maybe there is something that the government should work on? Because like someone in Kabbalah said, now you're telling me to buy your solar. And I've seen that the government right now has even made it easier through other sectors. I've seen like solar now giving even people in the community solars on loan. I've seen Nexus Green that coming also on board with all these initiatives, trying to make trying to make the community that they have access to affordable solar energy. But still there is this challenge of climate change. So how can we deal with this?
You see, before you understand the magnitude of your problem, you will never pick up the solution. Yes? Okay. When we speak affordable, when we speak smart, when we speak clean, we are speaking solar because some of us have faced those challenges. Yeah. Yes? As my colleague was just saying earlier, it hurts knowing well that you don't have extra time to read. You don't have extra time to focus on your academics. You have to, run to the centers to charge. From these basic things, you don't have enough money to pay for your yaka that day. That's if it's there, even in the rural areas. So it's not until you understand the magnitude of that problem that you're going to seek out that perfect solution, which we are bringing. Okay. Which we are explaining that's solar. Because someone in Kabul, as you've said, it's not about convincing them. They have faced some of these challenges, yes? And climate change has affected us all. Okay. But to an extent, we have to learn how to adapt with the ongoing change, with the ongoing crisis. We can't neglect that it's there, but at least we have to find solutions to adapt. Okay. If we know that the deforestation is affecting us, if we know that burning of this charcoal is affecting us, whereas we are embracing it, we are affecting ourselves. There are long-term effects to this. And people usually focus on the short term because you're looking at, oh, I have to cook, oh, I have to do this. But there is a long-term effect to this. So that's why when we talk about sustainable development, there is a lot that we are talking about. There is a lot that we focus on. Okay. They are sustainable development goals. You mentioned SDG number 7, right? Yeah, yeah. Affordable and clean energy. When we speak sustainable, that is a key word. We are not only living for us, but we are living for the generations to come. Yeah. And I can quote one of my mentors, Mr. Baguma Richard. He mentioned sometime in one of the conferences that I attended, he was like, the actions that you do today will affect your future. Wow. Because as a young person, we're all young people here, I believe. Yes, as a young person seated here, I know that the actions I'm doing right now, or whatever I'm trying to put my hands on, is going to determine my life 10 years from now, which is not far. If I'm looking at living in a good environment, in a clean and safe environment, I'm going to focus on certain things. The actions that I'm doing right now, the promoting of this solar energy, the everything I'm doing, it's going to affect me in the long run. Yeah. So if I want to live in a clean and smart Uganda tomorrow, I'm going to focus on my actions now. I'm going to embrace clean and smart energy. I'm going to push forward for different activities. And yeah, because when we say affordable, by the way, it also determines. Yeah. Because as you know, solar energy, it depends on the components you've used.
Okay, not only like on the side of affordable, but when you look at this, let's look at health. And I'm talking on the side of those communities down there who cannot afford electricity since it's expensive. And the only solution they see is using firewood. And you know what it means by using firewood? Mostly on the side of the women, we are the ones who are much involved in using these energy sources. Now when you look at using firewood and you're always in the smoke, day 1, day 2, January to December, you know, from morning to evening,
have you tested that?
Yes, let me tell you something. Actually, that's why I ran away, and I'm trying to look for a better solution, and that is solar
to help.
Yes,
because you're a plant kid.
Never about that. I'm not actually. I'm just. That's why you see all my speech. I'm referring down there to those who are who cannot afford anything,
Okay.
who have never seen what is electricity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even if I've seen, how do I use it? It's a process. You have to look for someone again to teach you how to use electricity. But with the solar, trust me, they'll just tell you, this is a plate, just hang it under sunshine in the evening, you are able to use. And not only, actually, as it is charging, you are using it. Even if you touch, it will not endanger you. There is no smoke.
Actually, you can't touch because it's at the top.
You know, there will be no risk. These risks of I have asthma, I'm asthmatic, I cannot do this, I cannot be on the smoke. You see that?
Yeah.
So, if the Kabale communities can embrace this, definitely, we don't have to beg them that you use it. They will say that, hey, their health, first of all, is at risk, yes. Their children are not going any further with education because they cannot afford electricity. And even it is hard for the government to, by the time, we are not against, like maybe these other sources.
No, yeah.
Yes, they are also good to us. Now, we look at what is much far better, what is simpler to use. I see solar is the simplest.
Okay, I've heard from the ladies that conversation was getting odd and odd, but because of time, we are at the nick of time. We need to go for a short commercial break, and we shall come back with what they are really trying to explore, saying that why the community or why someone in Kavale, why someone like my grandmother in maybe in Abim should embrace solar, with also, everything it has its effects. And you know that there are some people who are still against saying no. We need also Yaka. If the people of Kambana, they are using Omeme, for us also we need Omeme. If people who are still struggling, like some of us who studied in school, using those pressure lamp, you need to use a lot of energy for the energy to come out. So, I don't know. I'm here with also people with experiences, people who, they pass through that life. But we shall go for a short commercial break, then we shall be back with another episode of this topic. Thank you very much.
UCTV, good news for all. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank, agribusiness solar loan of up to 50 million shillings for a solar-powered irrigation system on your farm. Enjoy a grace period tailored to your cash flows and loan offer amounts from 100,000 up to 50 million Uganda shillings with flexible loan periods up to 60 months. Apply for a Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan through our branches, agents, and enjoy a fixed interest rate of just 1.7% per month. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan today and watch your farming dreams come to life. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial star 165 3 hash. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6. You will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the sports link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
And Messi! Thuram! Mbappe!
Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball,
Nasanga taking the shot. Look at that exceptional steal.
motorsports, boxing,
Another. And
swimming, and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all.
Tiene que soñar.
Hello and welcome to UCTV. Welcome to Connect with Mary.
You're the Alpha and the Omega.
The Catholic television. I'm Sunday Gloria Watch with UCTV News.
We need people to pay for content.
Bernardo Silva, Matheus Nunes, and Haaland!
Swings it across to Christie.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Oh, Susanna. Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Rixel. Whenever it turns your lunchtime, we keep your vibes spiced, always with your number one lunch show.
No, I don't see it often.
We entertain.
I'm so insecure.
Educate, interact, inform, and hold random interviews every Monday to Friday from 1:45 to 3 p.m. only on UCTV with me, your host, Rixel. The Lunch Vibe. Keep your vibe spiced always.
We are sister counselors. We are here to share with you about a number of topics, issues concerning human life.
We have groups, can have a group of children, a group of youth, families.
We also offer workshops to a variety of group of people. We go to schools, we go to parishes, to sisters' congregations.
Every Monday, Saturday and Sunday.
Children, how are you feeling? Are you happy? Are you being punished for nothing?
The elderly, are you feeling challenged in the world? Are you rejected?
Husband and wife, don't miss.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. I told you we are still here at the studio trying to digest things. You know, when we talk about solar energy, you're preaching about a message that safeguards someone's life. You're talking about something that, you know, that the community, you know, that at least we are trying to reduce the emission rate in the country, or what's called the carbon footprint in our community. That's the reason why we are here to articulate this, to see possible solutions, possible ways how we can really interest our communities into embracing what the government is trying really to sell to different parts of this country. All right, then. We have talked about the government's agenda, the plan. I like what you said about the adaptation, that everything, you know, as a country, we know we cannot go into mitigation because mitigations, it seems to be expensive because of the technology transfer. We need to learn from the Chinese or from the US guys. So now, with all this that we are trying to embrace, we are trying to interest the community about it. What are the challenges? Because when you move like to up country, you will find still like you said, like you put the solar there, but there is a Karamojong down there who doesn't know what solar is. Even he will find it and he will climb on it, or even he will. So you see that still people, we have seen mindset, a lot of things. So what are the challenges that they see that the government is still facing with really interesting or selling this initiative to the community so that they can embrace it? Let me start with Topista. You who has been in sorority, you have seen, I don't know if also for them they climb on this solar.
They even have a plant.
Actually, thank you very much.
All the solar panels are really in danger.
What I can say about us, the other side, I've been in Soroti, I've been in Karamoja, and I saw how it was really hard for Solar Now to get into the community. It was really not easy. And what was really causing this was most of the times installation of these solar systems, it is always expensive.
Yeah.
You get it? It is not easy to install this. And you, the local person, cannot install personally. You need another person who is technical to install it. But if there is a way, like maybe if they can train the community down there, they go down to the community and train people.
The local solar engineers.
Local people who are going to use it, such that even if anything goes wrong with my solar, or even when I'm shifting, it's easier for me, the local person down there, to transport my solar and install by myself than waiting, not until you are given an appointment, because these officials are always busy in the field. They are selling their what. By the time they come and attend to you, ideally, you will be in total darkness. Let us take, for example, still in the school. That means the school will take long to catch up with other schools. You get it? Then another thing is awareness. These communities are not yet aware of this. And another thing, they are still used to using their candles. They are still used to using their local lamps.
The Tadovas.
Yes. So now by the time you're coming with your solar, they are like, now what is this? This one, will it not burn my house? You see that? They look at the solar panel and they'll be like, putting it on top of my roof. Will it not bring the roof down? You understand? So they need a lot of what? Sensitization. They need to sensitize them on how to use them, on how to install them, on how it is also used.
And also behavioral change.
Yes, because first of all, I cannot buy something that I do not know how to use.
That's true.
You're coming, like when the Solar Now came to Karamoja, they just came, we were just looking at the plates and like, now what is this? Is it a kaminzani that I have to stand in and measure my weight or something? It really took them some time. They had first to look at those ones who had already the knowledge. Though if really you get time, like maybe to be in urban and you saw this working out, they first had to wait. Then now they started now purchasing slowly. But ideally, if in the first place, they first go down in the grassroots and teach the people how to use it, and maybe even give out the samples. Because, you cannot tell me to buy it and I'll be like, but still I have my candles I can use. You see, and they are cheap, they are 100, but these ones, they are very expensive.
That's true.
For someone to afford.
Let me go to Samantha. Samantha, we are talking about the challenges. She has spoken in a community perspective or a grassroots perspective. So, according to you, who is a researcher, you've been dealing like with the CSO spaces, and what do you think that really is a challenge to the CSO, like the NGOs, the UN, that they have not yet really attained that magnitude, that they to interest this community who are in rural areas to embrace this clean energy. When I say clean energy, I'm meaning this like solar energy in area. What are the challenges that you think that really is still facing these other sectors or these other organizations with their work?
Not to differ from what she has said, the prices of some of the panels are not affordable to the people in the grassroots communities.
Yeah, that's true.
But there are certain systems and certain companies in place. I don't know if you've heard of the MTN, is it Ready Pay solar system? Yes. So it's more like, more like your car, but you pay a cost of 500 shillings per day. to use. That's affordable for someone in the village. And if we are looking at these grassroots communities who are the most affected, we are looking at that affordable means of energy. And clearly, if we are to compare solar energy to these other forms of energy, it's safer, first of all, but it's also cheaper in comparison to the others. So whereas some of the costs are not as friendly, but companies have come with installment options of payments. So it's a price thing to an extent, but also the reliability of this solar energy in some of the areas. We can't neglect the fact that some areas don't receive as much sunlight as the others. You mentioned Karamoja and Kabale. So you notice that one will receive more sunlight and they'll benefit more from the solar compared to the other people in the other communities. So that can be a great challenge because they won't benefit as much from the solar panel. But systems are coming in place. There are indoor solar panels that are actually being created. And the fact that, the advancing systems are being put in place whereby we now have the bendable, the flexible solar panels that it adjusts according to the sun rays. So that's also one of the innovative solutions that are being brought. But reliability of this sunlight is a problem, really. And also installations, you find that some people install these wrongly, and as you mentioned, you have to depend on a company to come and do it for you, and if they don't come, then you're doomed. So it's quite a challenge, but also the basic things, because it needs constant maintenance. When you put this panel on your house at the top, you find it's few people that are going to have time to, get the ladders, climb and clean it up. But it needs constant, because it's out there, it's exposed. So this exposure, you're exposing it to dirt. You don't know if a bird has passed and pooped on it. So all these, and you realize all these impurities on the panel are affecting the quality. Because you won't receive as much sun rays as you would have.
Okay. Also, let me chip in. Also, actually, on accessibility and also on reliability. It's not reliable in a way that, for example, you talked of Kabale not having this much sunlight, and of which, if we are to say that, yes, we are adopting this, and maybe the hospitals are going to rely on this source, you find that most of our drugs will end up getting spoiled because they will need a lot of energy that will ignite the generators to run throughout and keep the drugs. But now, if it's not reliable, like in that area, you find that most of the times there is too much rain, there's no sunlight. So that is the most challenging part.
But also, as we are focusing on solar energy, we have talked about it not being as reliable as it should be, but we can't neglect the fact that it's a good backup plan.
Actually, we can incorporate.
We
incorporate solar and maybe electricity and maybe other sources.
Because we are looking at clean, affordable
energy.
Clean
and affordable.
Which is sustainable. When we are talking about sustainability, we are looking at something that protects life and property, that will not really destroy any of that too. So that's the reason why I was saying that how sustainable is it really that, that with all these challenges that the community are failing to embrace because of certain things that maybe the knowledge, which is we term it at ignorance, ignorance to them. They are ignorant about what solar is all about and how can I protect this solar. And also, I read a report from Solar Now where they were saying that they tried giving this solar to the local people on loans, but you give someone and someone disappeared. Like for instance, today he's staying here, he has shifted to another village whom they don't know even which village, especially. And all these were reports that were especially they were facing from the Karamoja.
But again on that, I would maybe say if the government could come up and apply the same way they supplied electricity, they supplied freely. It was the government that installed those poles and everywhere and the wiring, then it was onto the community to tap it. It would be at least cheaper. But now when you say that solar has come and now, you know, I have to purchase it, then again I have to incur the cost of installing, you see those kind of things, it's very real, it's very expensive, and it leaves the communities behind. So if the government could come up, but help maybe in the, maybe the community can, the community members can purchase, then it is the government to install. There at least.
But you notice the government can't go door to door. And that's where solar kind of differs. Whereas you have one specific plant that is possibly Bujagali or wherever it is, these solar panels in most cases are, especially in Uganda, if I'm giving the largest percentage, they are owned by households.
Okay.
You find that the households are the ones having the panels. So if the government is to chip in, it's to invest maybe in the solar plants. Okay. And as of now, we have close to 4 plants. Whereby in Soroti,
let me first chip in.
You also have
let me first chip in. You say that the government cannot go door to door.
Yeah.
But the government is able to go like shop to shop to collect taxes, right? But I'm not against that.
Yeah.
You know? They are able to go door to door to collect taxes. What makes it so hard for them to go door to door to install this?
How much time does it take you to collect taxes and install? No. And the resources as a country that is still trying to, you know, battle up. I don't want to go much into the details of that, but that's a good idea. But I feel like they should invest more in having more solar plants, because that's what you're talking about, trying to make it more like the electricity being extended. Yeah. We have some solar plants. They are close to 4.
We have a rural electricity generation. That's a project that was really that was only meant for the rural areas.
Yes, rural electrification.
But you see, on that, let me tell you something. If the government cannot go door to door, there are these small initiatives down here. Can really tap on us. I can say, okay, let me, the government can maybe tap on Taraji, Teenage Gas Initiative. For us, we shall go and install. Yeah. You understand? Incorporate this other. Actually, it will be even a good thing, because, first of all, it will be creating jobs for other people.
I think all now this leads to policy, because the policy which is favorable to the community, and also because I know that in the constitution there is that public-partisan partnership, whereby the government is supposed to partner with the community-led initiatives.
Yes.
Like that's the reason why when the Chase saga happened, everyone was pinpointing at KCCA. Say that organization were coming, we asked KCCA to give us what? Chitezi, maybe for us to do something in Chitezi, to try to manage this waste, but KCCA were reluctant. So I think that comes all to the policy, looking at the policy which are in places that are favorable for us also to take this opportunity and said, look, come to Ministry of Energy and say that there is this part of the policy which says that we can partner, we can do this. As Taraji, this is what we can offer on ground if you give us this opportunity. So that, you know, the government cannot reach everywhere, but at least with the community, they understand their problem, they understand what's happening in their different regions. And they have even, because it happens when you went to Kapchora, these people had ideas, they know what's taking place and even have real, but it's just that the motivation part of it, and they need more empowerment to come up on the ground and implement all these ideas. So now, according to you, you've stated days that the government should do this. Do you think that really what the government is trying, especially with some of these solutions that people have suggested, do you think that will the government be able really to implement this come 2030, that we are supposed to submit to the UN, the SDGs, and say that, you look, in regards to goal 7, access to affordable energy, this is what at least Uganda from 26%, at least the rural people in Uganda are able to are able at least to tap up to 100 or 90%, at least they have access to this clean energy. So are we able to reach that target according to you people?
Speaking of the target, 2030 is not so far from now. Technically, we just have a few years left.
Yeah.
But if you check the trend of solar energy in the country, you can clearly see that it's increasing.
And we have very many companies.
Exactly. What does that mean? That the government is also supportive. It has a supportive hand in this.
Actually, by the government allowing those other companies to come in and sell these solar panels, already it shows that we are heading there.
We are moving towards that. But setting the limit of 2030, that's also good. And I'm sure we shall have quite an impressive report by then. But we have to look at also what lies past 2030. You know, sometimes when we set it to this goal and it's not achieved, it feels like we've lost on that. But we have to keep pushing forward. Yeah. There is a lot more past 2030. Yeah. So I'm just glad that the country is embracing this, and also for the certain companies that are embracing solar energy. Because when you go down to the village, I remember when I had gone to my village, that was 2 years back. And when I was there was this company that was moving around with flyers. Yes, they were giving out flyers to the people. They were giving education, telling them that, you know what, we have this solar, this and this and this. You can pay at this and this price. Because you notice most of these companies give these solar panels at a certain cost, but you can always pay in installments. So that's another way that they're making people try to buy this idea. And in the long run, people will understand the importance of having solar energy in place. Whereas it's not as efficient, because we can't neglect the fact that it is also not as efficient as such, but there are different solar panels that have been put in place to accommodate for certain activities, just like the large-scale equipment, though they are quite costly. But people in the villages need the basic things. If we can't access the basic things, then what do we need? The basic things. You need light. You need your phone to charge. You need your radio. You have to always listen in and know that this is happening, this is not. Exactly. You need the updates. Yeah. And if we are looking at focusing on that target group of people, the people in the grassroots communities, we are going to need to push this further. As you mentioned, there are some people in Karamoja that have not heard of this. I'm not saying Karamoja in specific, but there are places that have not heard of the solar panels, and when you see them, when they see them, they tend to get that abnormal bias towards it. So if we can increase, first of all, the awareness towards people understanding the whole bit of the solar, and Ugandans believe by saying, or Africans in total and in general, you wait for your neighbor's house to get burnt. Buy a candle that you lit in your bedroom for light. That's when you'll know that, okay, I now need the solar panel installed. So let's not wait for such tragedies to happen, for houses to get burnt, for, poor academic results. Let's try to have this. That's what we call prevention. Because with this ongoing climate change crisis, we are going to have to find ways of adapting to it. Yeah. And 2030 is not the limit, but we go past that. So if we are looking at a sustainable future for us all, for Ugandans, we are going to have to focus on embracing solar energy, especially in the rural areas, but also in these urban settings. Because the cost the cost of electricity is way higher than the cost of a solar panel installation. And whereas they are costly, before you intervene, whereas they are costly, you find that the installation is what is giving that high cost to the panel. And there are different panels depending on the size. But Yaka is constant. It's good, but it's also costly. You find people use close to 100 units in a month. And yet that can cover up for, part of the installation.
Also, just to add on that, you see, government right now is against deforestation.
Yes.
Yeah. And you find that we in our country, Uganda, most of the households have been always like they've been depending on the forest for cooking. But now you find that since the government is against deforestation, what is the next solution? You get it? So that means the only solution is solar. You get it? Such that it has to like maybe to not to allow people to do deforestation, but also gives the solution.
A solution.
You get it? That now, okay, we don't want you to cook using this. Then the people will be like, what shall we use? The government now has to come in and push in so much for solar.
Okay.
Yes.
Backup plan.
Okay, then, ladies, I know that information is all flowing, but you know that time is always not our best ally. All right, then let me just give you just a minute. Let me start with Samantha. So what are your recommendations to the viewers out there? Your recommendation to the viewers?
My recommendation and my final remarks is that if we are looking at a sustainable future, we are going to have to use and adapt to sustainable energy, and that is solar energy. Because with a country that receives close to 5.5 kilowatt hours per meter squared of sunlight on a daily, those are 8 hours of that. We can use that energy and transform our country. We can use that and make our places better, reducing the pollution and everything related to it. So I recommend all you viewers out there, if you can get a solar panel, if you can get someone to install or advocate for this, then we are making Uganda a better place to stay in with safer, clean and smart energy for a sustainable future.
All right, thank you, Samantha. Let me come to Pista. Your recommendation and remarks, last remarks to the viewers out there.
Thank you very much, our dear viewers. I really thank you for tuning to this program. Actually, what I can say is that whether we like it or not, we have to adopt with the change. And actually, the change here now is to adopt with solar energy, with any other clean energy, and let's try to avoid this other energy that will always disrupt with our health, that will always disrupt with our environment, such that we are able to see our future tomorrow. Me and my girls, my women, we know very well that we would love to see our future, would love to see our grandchildren. So this is the best solution for us. Let us all adopt to it, and we shall see our bright future. Thank you.
All right then, ladies, thank you, Samantha, for having you today in the studio. Thank you, Topista. We will still invite you anytime, any day. Just be ready, because I'm seeing this information. I think we need to, I'm going to plan for another day that we can extend this conversation, because there is a lot that we need to dive into. All right, viewers, we have come to the last hour, last minute of this conversation. What I can tell you that please just share this conversation, like our page, the YouTube page of UCTV Environment Dialogue, share it to different social media platforms, share with your friends. They can learn something from it. And I told you also, we have the comment section there. You can write us whatever, anything, like you can tell us or you can advise us how we can also do that show, because your feedback is really our strength, the way that we see that we can also improve on this show. That's the reason why we call ourselves that the mainstream media, to make things to change. Samantha said that if you cannot do something right now, today, you will affect the future generation which is coming after you. So that's the reason why they have interested themselves in this conversation and this show, to see that they don't die with their knowledge, but they exploit everything and exhaust it out. I remain Dickens Ochero, the host of Environmental Dialogue on UCTV every Wednesday from 8 to 9. Then on our YouTube, you can stream it from 9 to 10. Every Wednesday, we are always here.
UCTV, good news for all.